Today you're going to hear a great story about citizens, police officers doing heroic deeds. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Chief Brown to the podium, and he will give you a great story today. Thank you.
Well, I still get chill bumps reading this scenario, what happened this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning, right near Bachman Lake, right at 3500 block of Northwest Highway. Two joggers, Denise McElroy and Mark Sorley, were jogging by and noticed a car swerving on Northwest Highway out of control at a high rate of speed, drove into the lake, into Bachman Lake, about 100 feet from the bank. And the joggers, both Denise and Mark, dove in trying to get the driver rescued by trying to open the door or break the windows, and weren't able to because of the pressure underwater. They called 911. 3 Dallas officers, Ryan Mabry, Sean Mock, and Sergeant Matt Williamson, responded to the scene and met with Denise and Mark, and obviously saw the top portion of this vehicle at the top of the water, with the rest of the vehicles completely submerged. Officer Ryan Mabry, who is a lifeguard and on the Dallas Police Department's dive team, and Sean Mock, who is not, and is a little bit afraid of water, dove in, took their gun belts off, dove in the water, and swam to the van that was submerged. And they tried to break the windows out as well and open the door, but because of, obviously, pressure, weren't unable to. And then they swam up to the top and saw that the van had a moonroof, had a sunroof. And they decided to break the sunroof and go in to the vehicle and pull the citizen out. The citizen had had a medical issue that caused him to drive into the water, and had another medical issue while in the water. And they swam him back to the bank, and Sergeant Matt Williamson began CPR. The citizen was unconscious and unresponsive. Ryan Mabry and Sean Mock then swam back to the van to make sure there was no one else in the vehicle before they swam back. They called the DFR, ambulance responded, and I'm glad to report that the citizen is doing well. He doesn't remember anything, according to doctors, except that he has a sore chest, Sergeant Williamson, from the CPR. So this is phenomenal, fantastic work. And I was trying to find the words to describe what our officers and these citizens did this morning. And I just could call the citizens heroes and call these 3 officers heroes hero. Because just the risks that they disregarded their life to try to save this person is phenomenal. And everything had to be timed. These joggers had to be there right at that time. If these joggers aren't there, the officers don't get there in time. If these officers don't think quick while they're submerged in that water trying to figure out how to get this person out of the van and try to go through the sunroof, it doesn't work. And if Sergeant Williamson hadn't paid attention in the academy on how to do CPR, none of this works. And so today, this morning, we are awarding these citizens, the Citizens Ticket of Merit, and these officers 2 awards. The Meritorious Conduct Award, our 4th highest award, and the Life Saving Award. And we normally have a long, big, tall bureaucracy to get this done. We have to go through a board, they have to vote, they have to table it and come back and vote again. And I'm like, raise your hand if you don't think they deserve these awards. And everyone thinks, and I really do believe that this is phenomenal police work and great citizenship. Thank you so much. And I'm going to call one at a time each of these quite deserving people up. I'm going to call Denise McElroy up first for the Citizen Certificate of Merit. Denise. Next, I'm going to call up Mark Sorley, S-O-R-L-E-Y. Mark. those are the two heroes that were jogging. The next three are a hero's hero because they went above and beyond what the average person would have done. And even one fearing water, not being able to think he can swim as well as the person who's a lifeguard. So I'm going to call these officers up one at a time. First, I'm going to call up Ryan Mabry. That's spelled M-A-B-R-Y. Ryan? Here's the bar. It goes here. And here's the second award, the life-saving award, with the ball. And that's Ryan Mabry, he told me, not Mabry. Next, I'll call up Sean Mock. Sean? And the life-saving award, and ball. And the sergeant, Sergeant Matt Williamson, applied CPR on the banks of the Bachman Lake, saving a life. Sarge. And if you don't mind, before we take questions from the media, y'all can have a seat, thanks. We'll have everyone come up, the citizens, both Denise and you guys just come up and stand here. We'll get a shot of all of you. Sarge, Rookie. Ryan is a 10,000 badge number. Those are rookies. And I'll take questions, but I prefer if you have questions of these heroes here that you ask of them, and I'll get out of the spotlight and let them obviously get all the credit. Any questions? Yeah.
We heard what the chief said you saw. What did you guys see?
Exactly how he described it. We were running, and we saw a truck leave the road, or an SUV van leave the road, and he went into the water. It was going very fast, and so he was almost in the middle of the lake before he quit moving. And that was really it.
What did you do next?
Well, we stood there, obviously shocked. What do we do? Denise said she would run down to the local, I guess there's a Whataburger down the street, was going to try and, neither of us had our phones with us. And we stood there. I was watching the truck actually, hoping it would float. It began to sink slowly, and
I didn't get all the way to Whataburger. I saw another runner coming and asked if he had a phone, and he did, and so I called 911 and then turned to run back. And when I got back, the car was sinking. So Mark looked at me and asked me if I could swim, and I said yes. So we took off our shoes and
jumped in.
Tell me, you sound like there was some frustration there.
No, I was just afraid.
No, I mean you couldn't get the door open.
Oh,
Once we got in, I went to the passenger side. The window was halfway down. He was sitting across from me, I guess in shock, not very responsive. He had a seatbelt on, yelled at him to take it off. He just kind of sat there, unlocked the door, but could not pull the door open. And I went to the other side, and I believe Denise came up.
yeah, and
on the
I was
passenger side
just
again.
looking for other passengers to see if anybody else was in the car, and it didn't look like there was. When the police asked me later if there was anybody else there, I was certain when I looked, but then I was afraid that I wasn't certain later, so they went out and looked, but we couldn't get him out.
What was the reaction of the driver when you could see that you guys couldn't see the car?
Well, he wasn't responding. I mean,
At all?
At all. I mean, he was sitting there very relaxed, And so,
It wasn't until the water started rising that I guess he either realized he was really in trouble and he's pounding on the glass trying to get out. And
right.
that's when the
The
police officers
As
showed
soon
up.
as he went
and-
under the water, as soon as his face went under the water, they showed up. And so we immediately started yelling, you know, hurry.
We were both pounding on the glass. Neither of us had enough leverage to get any weight behind the blow. So I mean, it was frustrating in that regard. We just felt like there's nothing we could do. If they
If they hadn't
hadn't shown up when they did, it would
there was nothing we could do,
it
right?
have been really bad.
No, these guys are the
Oh,
heroes.
yeah.
These guys are the heroes.
We just happened to be there, and they're the heroes. Yeah, absolutely. And responded so fast. I was amazed how quickly they were on this scene. I thought this isn't going to be good, and they were there and in the water quickly. There wasn't well trained. They knew what to do, and immediately were in the water. And
And the officers talked about how you discovered the news and then what happened, what you did.
Yes, as I approached there, I see the two citizens, see them in the water yelling that they needed help. When we first got there, we were thinking that they were in the vehicle, but then they're saying somebody else was inside. So told me and my partner, Mock over here, told him, hey, go ahead and take off your gun belt and your vest and get everything off, because I know being in water and having all this extra gear on, it'll slow you down and it'll tire you out pretty quick. So while we're going out there, try a couple of blows on the passenger side window, but that wasn't working for me. So then I noticed the sunroof on top. So I gave it a couple of hits up there, came open, and then when I looked, you couldn't see him. The gentleman was still submerged underneath. So I had to feel with my hand while on top, trying to find where he's at. And I was able to find him and get his head up. And then once I got his head up and high enough for his chest, I attempted to give him some chest compressions, just a few seconds to see if I can get anything from him. After that, realized we needed to get him to the shore real quick. Excuse me?
Swimming is not the issue. It's I have a fear of lakes and especially dark water. I didn't even think about it at the time. It wasn't until afterwards when I realized that I just swam twice through this dark lake.
Officer Neighbor, is your rank officer, Corporal?
Police officer.
Police officer? You're the one that's the trained lifeguard?
All throughout high school and college, that was my job. And then I'm currently on the Dallas Underwater Recovery Team for our dive team that we have here.
It sounds like, as the chief said, a number of things just happen to come together, and having a lifeguard out there certainly doesn't hurt. Did things just automatically kick in that you never probably thought you'd have to use?
Yeah, and that's part of the training, especially with the water. When you start going there, start thinking, I know most of these waters out here at these lakes, they're going to be pretty soggy, dark, and at this time cold. So all that stuff starts going through my head, going a game plan as to what we need to do to take care of the situation.
Well, let's give it up one more time for these officers and citizens. Thank you all for coming out.